Mr. Speaker, I rise to provide the House an update on the present critical status of the Tynes facility. Mr. Speaker, 2 weeks ago on November 10th, in a press conference, I spoke of the critical state of Tynes Bay and our need to invest heavily for it not to fail. This morning, I will give an update of the ongoing battle the engineers and technicians at Tynes Bay are waging to get the plant back up and running, and the serious challenges we are all facing in terms of the island's ability to dispose of its waste. Mr. Speaker, the Tynes Bay facility is our only means of municipal solid waste disposal, and should the facility fail, it will mean the country reverting to landfilling. Mr. Speaker, sadly, I must report that we may very soon be at that point. For the last 2 weeks since my initial report, a crew of specialist boiler makers from Europe have been working nonstop to make repairs to both boiler units at the plant. At the same time, our contingency system, which normally bails refuse during these times of outages, also suffered a critical failure. In addition, COVID-19 supply chain issues in Europe has exacerbated the repair of the baler to the point where our own employees had to skillfully fabricate replacement parts using 3D printed technology to rebuild a hydraulic ram. But even these efforts to get the system up and running have failed. Mr. Speaker, while we do have a replacement ram being air freighted, the time for its arrival and the space left at the bunker to stockpile the refuse that is collected daily are simply at odds. To preserve what little space we have left, bulky waste material is already being diverted for shredding at the Marsh Folly location for later disposal at Tynes Bay. But even this will not buy us the amount of time we need. Mr. Speaker, with the tentative time frame both boilers back in operation being still 2 weeks ahead, we will simply not have room to store any more garbage. As such, the ministry is now preparing for its last resort for waste disposal, and that is reopening a portion of Marsh Folly for landfilling. We had hoped to avoid this outcome and have done so for the last 10 years. But at this point, the options are few. We are anticipating needing to landfill for a period of perhaps 1 to 2 weeks while the boiler repairs are completed and the baling system is repaired. Once these alternatives are available, the landfilling will stop. While time is not on our side, we as a government are committed to doing something about it. I reported 2 weeks ago that we are looking to invest some $75 million into the plant to get it to a point of stabilization. Since that time, engineers have now received their actual pricing from Specialized Waste to Energy, ICAG, out of Switzerland, for the full scope of works necessary to get the boilers through the next 3 to 4 years. While our original in-house estimates were close, the true pricing is close to $8.5 million. That cost may still arise, as much of it is based on the cost of steel and other materials, which are changing rapidly due to the global supply chain crisis. Mr. Speaker, with the cost of baling and other associated works, such as quality assurance for insurance purposes, crane hire, and other island logistics adding to this figure, the final total for the project may be close to $9 to $10 million. It will take about 11 weeks for each boiler to be repaired. While this may seem like a lot of money for comparison, the cost of full replacement, which is what we really need at this point, is close to $150 million. And to be clear, the $10 million we are planning to spend now only address the boilers, which are at the heart of the plant and the most valuable at this time. But there are still many critical auxiliary systems at Tynes that are past obsolescence that can just as easily shut down the plant if they are not soon replaced. So with life restored to the time will be of the essence to pursue the full solution of the 150 million investment. I'm pleased to report that the Ministry of Public Works, in conjunction with the Ministry of Finance, have met and are meeting urgently to find creative financing solutions for such a large sum in our present financial state. Mr. Speaker, as mentioned, with the effects of the pandemic on supply chain and even getting people mobilized, these costs cannot be cast in stone, and we are constantly balancing the risk of getting support here as quickly as possible while providing COVID safety. With the support of our specialist contractor, we are aiming to execute the works February of next year, leaving little time to even prepare. But the contractors and the ministry are committed to getting the work as soon as possible. I will endeavor to continue to give updates on this critical work